Ba-na-na-na-na-na. Hey, ba-dum-bum-bum-bum. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls of all ages, welcome to Stump the Idiot. I am the idiot, aka the huge one, Dave Koco from DAVEKOCO.com, and I'm joined by my tag team partner of the Idiot Express, one BoomBoom. BoomBoom, welcome back. It's been 30 seconds for you. It's been, I don't know how long it's going to update. Guys, put it down. 2 days, 3 days, 4 hours? When did the videos come back to back? We'll never know. BoomBoom. This is another one from Golden Star Alex. We'll have to go to YouTube after this one. We need to show YouTube some love. We got to say, hey, we pay attention to YouTube, not just the Twitter machine, too. Mm-hmm. All right. Stump the Idiot and BoomBoom. I'm starting to think Golden Star doesn't think you're an idiot. This is part 2 of the ECW question, which you already answered and made a video of. I asked before, who between these wrestlers would have done the best in the WCW's Cruiserweight division? One of my favorite divisions of all time. Ricochet, Kota Ibushi, Will Ospreay, Pac, and Bryan Danielson. Oh, this is a tough one. I went first last time, so I'm going to let you go first this time. BoomBoom, I'm at the corner. I stepped on the ropes and just pointed to the ring. Like, it's your turn. It's your turn to shine.
Okay, now who are my four one more time?
All right. Ricochet.
Ricochet.
Kota Ibushi.
Kota Ibushi. Okay.
Will Ospreay.
Will Ospreay.
Pac. And Bryan Danielson.
Bryan Danielson. Oof. Of all that, I would probably say Bryan Danielson.
Okay.
Because a lot of the other guys, now this is going to depend on exactly when they would come in, because there was a time when Bill Watts was running the show where he had a top rope rule where nobody could come off that top rope. It was automatic disqualification if you were caught going off the top rope.
Dark times,
and that's
dark times.
Part of the reason why, like early, like Rob Van Dam and Scotty Flamingo were like, trying to do some mat wrestling. I think that's even why, like, you had, like, matches with, like, Jushin Thunder Liger and Flying Bryan were pretty much, like, turned into, like, technical, showcases rather, because you couldn't come off that top rope. Now, it depends on when it is, so of all of that, I figure...
I'm thinking prime Cruiserweight action. We're not talking about fucking shithead Watts.
Yeah, because, I mean, it just depends, but, If I think maybe now, if it's the Watts era, definitely Daniel Bryan, because he or Bryan Danielson, because he didn't rely on the top rope quite as much as the other guys did. Kota Ibushi, maybe a close second there. But if they don't have the top rope rule in effect, and you can go up, you can fly around. I could picture. This is WCW. I would probably say Pac.
All right.
Or Pac.
Pac.
Probably say Pac. I'd probably say Pac, just because he would have like this. He would have a pretty good look, and again, depending on the time and knowing WCW, the thing that would have helped him out the most is, and this was in all due respect, I want to say that we've made progress since then, but he was very much white.
Yeah.
Because WCW had kind of a history with minorities. I mean, remember the Sonny Ono lawsuit? Some years later about how minorities were portrayed. And look, I'm not one of those SJWs. I'm just saying that's just what would have most likely would have happened at that time.
All right. It's interesting because, WCW Cruiserweight title is a long run. Like, Watts era, definitely Bryan Danielson. I didn't even think about that. I was just thinking prime Cruiserweight wrestling
era. You'd have to be a complete, total fucking nerd to remember that shit.
I try to erase it, dude. I just try to erase it.
No, you just can't remember shit.
That's true.
That's what I'm here for.
I can't remember shit, but let me tell you something. NWA, Watts, if there's ever a rule about the top rope, I'm fucking out. I'm out. Like, you could tell your wrestlers not to do it, but when there's an official rule, I'm just done. Remember when you couldn't throw people over the top rope?
Oh God, yes, I remember that was like that was grounds for disqualification. I remember they did that with, and again, this is nerdy alert here. They did that with the program between Steve Austin and Ricky Steamboat, where Austin would constantly intentionally get, well, he would intentionally get disqualified by throwing Ricky Steamboat over the top rope. And they finally had a match where if Austin threw Steamboat over the top rope, he would lose his championship. I think it was the TV championship at the time. And Ricky, being the good guy, got thrown over the top, but he held on to it. And instead of just dropping down, taking the easy win and getting the championship, nope, he skinned the cat, got back in, wrestled, and won anyway.
Good times. So it depends. I think if it's prime cruiserweight action and Monday Night Nitro, all that, Bryan Danielson doesn't make the roster. And I'm not saying he's untalented. I'm just saying they looked for different things back then. I think Ricochet and Will Ospreay have the hardest time in anything. The only thing is, I think they would have put them as a tag team. They're like, two little guys that can flip the doos. They're in the fucking cruiserweight tag titles. Remember that? That's what I'm thinking. Ibushi, it depends when he was there. When they had a relationship with New Japan and All Japan and went there, remember WCW was like WCW versus the world, and they had a lot of Japanese connections. I think Ibushi during that time period shines. I think he shines beyond belief.
Yeah, because it's not to say that, everybody was just fucking racist and all that shit thing. Because, they did have working deals with New Japan at the time.
Yeah. And I think if they had a working deal with any Japanese company, that's when Ibushi would have shined the most.
Yeah, because I remember when they introduced Muta and Liger, it was just mind-blowing.
Yeah. And also, too, during the Cruiserweight expansion and the Attitude Era, during the Monday Night Wars, they loved the fact that they had international stars. They loved it. Like, he's from Mexico, he's from
They could only
Japan.
climb so high. Because remember how, Kai and Tai was portrayed?
Yeah, well, I'm talking WCW. But the thing is, we're talking Cruiserweights, though. If Ibushi dared stepped out of his lane, he'd be in trouble. I think Ibushi would be a star if he decided to stay in the Cruiserweight division. But if he stepped out, he would have to go to WWE. Maybe he would have left with the Radicals. Maybe he would have left with Chris Jericho and the gang, I think Ibushi shines if he stays in the Cruiserweight division. But I think it's Pac. Pac, he has the look. He has the promos. I think if he, in a time machine, he would be the one to be like the Cruiserweight champ. He would cut promos that he's the best pound-for-pound champ. You know what I mean? So I think Pac shines the most out of all of them in any era. Ibushi, if he stays in the Cruiserweight at certain areas, he's great. I think Will Ospreay and Ricochet, they just put them together in a tag team. I don't think they see them as their full stars. Because even the smallest of guys in WCW were pretty fucking jacked. You know what I mean? So I think Pac shines the most just off WCW. In ring wise, all of them would be beyond amazing. It would be a great show. But we're trying to put on our fucking old man thinking caps of what era of this Cruiserweight title did matter. So Ricochet, Will Ospreay, I think they are the Cruiserweight tags. I think they just, hey, we don't know what to do with you. You don't look like muscleized fucking, you know what I mean? Ibushi, it depends if he's okay with just staying in the Cruiserweight division and the connection with Japan, and when it's the Attitude Era or the Monday Night Wars, it's perfect. Bryan Danielson, I think he only makes it if it's Bill Watts, and even then, he probably doesn't get much airtime. And Pac, I think he shines with this title no matter the era. He looks like $1 million. He can cut a promo. He can listen to stupid ass Watts, and he can do amazing things. So, I'm not saying Pac is the best wrestler. All these wrestlers are amazing. We're just thinking what would happen in a time machine. So I think Pac's our big winner. Depending on the era. Booms, do you have anything else to add? If not, I'm gonna throw a fun fact at you.
No, go ahead, man. What's the fun fact?
Fun fact, Dave. The WCW Cruiserweight title was actually the ACW Cruiserweight title. We just replaced the plates. We put a metal ACW over the WCW, and we kind of got side plates that said ACW, and sadly, it's one of my favorite belts and one of my favorite division of all time. Not many people noticed. No one said, Hey, dude, you're just out there with the WCW Cruiserweight title. No one fucking noticed. And I wonder how many kids today, younger fans, would even know this title, you know? I mean, it wasn't WWE, but in the WWE, it was a joke, you know? So, is it still out? I don't think so. Is it 205? Do they have a Cruiserweight title? I don't know, dude. Just how much we don't pay attention to new products, WWE. Guys, does a Cruiserweight title still exist in WWE? Hold on, let's ask Siri.
Yes, that's the 205 title.
Is it really? There's a 205 title, or is it a Cruiserweight title?
No, it's the Cruiserweight Championship. Remember, it was what the whole show 205 Live was centered around.
I'm going to be 100% honest with you. That's on my things to do list for the last 50 years. I'm like, 205 Live. That sounds like something I'd like to watch. How long has 205 Live been out? I never got around to it, Boom Boom. I never got around to it. Guys, question of the day. 205 Live. Thumbs up, thumbs down, or am I not missing much? Booms, what do you think?
Nah, we're not missing too much.
All right. Check me out on twitch.tv/KocoSports, YouTube, Koco Plays, here, of course, on KocoSports. Check out DaveKoco.com. I'm a novelist and do a bunch of nerdy stuff, and it'd be cool if I, grew an audience of power and took over the world. Or, just hang out and talk shit. It would be, either way, take over the world, shoot the shit. I think everywhere in between is perfect. All right. Booms, do you have anything else to say before I say like, comment, subscribe?
Take care of yourselves out there, kids.
Like, comment, subscribe. And with that, I am over. Hey, ba-dum-bum-bum.